Stories that define our state's character. Here's Kevin Mackey with your Montana Moment. Sponsored by Montana Chevy Dealers.
Montana consistently ranks as having one of the highest suicide rates in the nation. Factors like social isolation and the lack of behavioral health services are of particular concern in Montana's rural communities. One of Montana's most creative artists is doing what he can to help extend a lifeline. In our Montana Moment, Kevin Mackey with Call Home.
Here's Belgrade sculptor Jim Dolan working on one of his latest creations. From this vantage point, you can't quite tell what it is yet. But if you look hard enough, you think, is that a phone booth?
This is part of the way through the phone booth process of what we're making for the people of Montana, especially for eastern Montana.
That's right. This acclaimed Montana artist is making phone booths to be placed in or near some of Montana's most isolated small towns.
It's another tool in the box of helping people that are depressed or isolated.
With Montana's high suicide rate, Jim wants to reach out to rural Montanans the best way he can, through his art. He shows friends who drop by the phone booths he's already completed.
I figured, how can I help our people in Montana? And this is one way I can do something that comes from me.
You don't see them much anymore, but phone booths used to be everywhere. Jim's phone booths aren't as big as the real ones.
Superman couldn't change clothes in here.
They don't have real phones either, but they send an important message.
Dial home or dial 988 and you're feeling bad that day, maybe you'll do it.
988 is a suicide and crisis lifeline. Many know the artist for his blue horses on a hill near Three Forks. They're his gift to the state. At Fire Station 1 in Uptown Butte stands a memorial of heroes in Butte's tragic warehouse fire of 1895. The sculptures inspired by original artwork of Martha U. Cooney Simonich. Jim's phone booths are his latest effort to honor his state.
We put it together with love.
Jim earned both his bachelor's and master's degrees in agriculture from Montana State University in Bozeman. He knows farmers and ranchers all over the state. Today, they face tariffs and many other financial challenges.
The commodity prices of cattle and grain is just plummeted. Even though you might get a lot of money for your cattle, you're paying $3 a gallon for gasoline. You don't really get ahead. You borrow this year's operating, you pay back 70% of it next November when you sell your cattle, but it doesn't get you even. Then you borrow again for next year.
Then he says problems can escalate further.
And the weather, not having decent help, and being far away from other neighbors, you're alone a lot of the time. The isolation is really tough on people. And a lot of them, feed it with alcohol or something like that, trying to make it better.
He says being tough, keeping problems to yourself, doesn't ease the pain.
The ranching atmosphere is basically you tough it out, cowboy up. Well, I'm not sure if that always works.
Jim comes from a family of cowboys. He loves Montana and its resilient people. Inside and outside his studio, Montana is everywhere. A whimsical scene of horses jumping over an old 1939 International pickup. The country's first woman elected to Congress, Montana's Jeanette Rankin. In the field behind his house, framed by the Bridger Mountains, are 111 of his buffalo sculptures. He's already installed one of his phone booths in Ringling. He plans to give every one of them a home.
When it's going to get one for downtown, wouldn't it? And hopefully next couple of weeks I'll deliver that. And we're working with a place, hopefully outside of Glasgow, and maybe one out of Poplar.
Every phone booth is handmade. They're not fabricated. They're rustic, perfectly imperfect.
My perfect doesn't have to be lined up to having completely 90-degree turns and everything. I always kid my friends tell me that if I ever had a tape measure, it'll last me a lifetime.
He's installing at least 10 across Montana, but he has no limit on how many he'll end up making.
If it's off a little bit, it's okay. And we even put a solar light in it, so at nighttime they'll light up.
The phone booth has long made way for the cell phone.
Which is great, because you could be in the privacy of your house or your pickup truck or your combine, and you could talk to a counselor.
He urges anyone who's feeling down to take that first step, to reach out. He says his phone booths aren't memorials.
It's not shrines for people who left us. It's hopefully education for the people that stay behind, and also people that might be thinking about doing something to themselves.
Jim likes to think that all of us can make a difference in people's lives. It doesn't have to be complicated. It's simple. Just keep in touch. Kevin Mackey, NBC, Montana. If you want to watch this story again or any of our Montana moments, go to NBCMontana.com/Montana Moment. These unique stories about the Treasure State, its history, and its great people are now the Montana Moment podcast. Look for new episodes every week. If you have a story idea, let us know. Until next time, be safe, stay healthy, and keep making Montana Moments.